Hi everyone, welcome to Curated by Becta's meal kit number 111 for July 28th to 30th. Thanks so much for ordering this week and thanks for letting us be a part of a special celebration at home. I am really excited by tonight's menu. We've got a beautiful gnocchi dish followed by some amazing marinated flank steak and then a terrific chocolate and raspberry tart. Like this is all-star stuff. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Today's video is going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to do the appetizer followed by the main course, followed by dessert. Or I'll put dessert in there somewhere. But unlike most times, I'm not going to try to multitask both the appetizer and main course together. Hopefully I can time this all properly and it's not going to be too long. So the first thing we want to do is 1 tablespoon of neutral oil, in my case grapeseed oil, per person in a pan, preheated to medium-high heat. You can use canola oil or vegetable oil, but I like grapeseed oil. And then you're going to grab some gnocchi out of the fridge. Make sure to leave it into the fridge until you get it. And it's been tossed in some oil as well. And just spread it out in your pan so that it's no pieces on top of one another. And you're going to saute this or let it sort of sear, caramelize on one side for 2 to 3 minutes. And then we're going to flip them over and then add the mushrooms and the zucchini. And then we're going to saute for additional 3 minutes before adding the other things. So while the gnocchi is going on, why don't we talk about the white wine pairing because we've got some time tonight. So this is one that we've had in the past and I'm a big fan of. So it's a Ciu Ciu from Falerio in the Marchese region of Italy. So this charming white is a blend of the varieties Trebbiano, Passerina, and Pecorino. Vines are planted on the hilly territories of the Ascoli, Provence. Exhibit notes of honeysuckle, lychee, peach, almond skin, white flowers, and prominent minerality, certified organic. And it is lovely. It's got an unctuousness and it's just vibrant. I'm a big fan. So hopefully you guys are too, and hopefully you have taken the time to order the wine pairings. I'm going to get some non-stick tongs, and I'm also going to update the instructions to say I'm going to reuse this pan for the main course veg as well, because this is like my favorite non-stick pan. So yeah, I think you only need 2 pans tonight. One is a cast iron for the steak, and then another for the veg. And then, of course, we've got the carrots that are going to be in the oven on a baking sheet. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you this before I forget. So we've got the roasted heirloom carrots. You want to toss them in some salt and pepper, and then you want to cube up 1 tablespoon of butter, unsalted butter per person, and put it right on top. And then when it goes in, it'll sort of melt in together, and then you can just toss it together at the end. Okay, so I think we're at the 2 to 3 minutes. Let's see if we've got a nice sear. We sure do. And that's where the tongs come in. Make sure we don't rip the gnocchi. And everything is there. Now the mushrooms and the zucchini go in there. They have probably sent me with a little more than needed on the veg. So when I plate it, just recognize that the veg might be a little much comparatively to what you will get, but this is an appetizer and this is more main course portion that they sent me with today. Maybe they think I'm thin and I need a little bit more fat on me. So we're going to saute this whole thing for 3 minutes, and then we're going to add the 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter per portion and the garlic scapes. My oil dried up a little bit, so I'm going to add just a little bit more. Feel free to do that if you like. It's not a bad thing. Okay. Now, with the main course, we want to take the marinated flank steak out of the sous vide bag, put it on some paper towel, and we're going to season both sides with salt and pepper. We can go ahead and do that now. Flip these guys over. Make sure to continue to give this a stir so that the gnocchi does not stick to the bottom, as I've got a couple pieces that have. That's why a nonstick pan is good. Of course, I'm having my little Julia Child moment, and there's a little bit of stuff flying on the floor, but again, we've got lots and lots of veg, so not a problem. Okay, so I'm gonna, again, season the flank steak, salt and pepper. Now you want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees, or if you're like me with a convection oven, 425. My little gnocchis are very delicate, so I want to make sure that they don't stick too much. It's okay if they do a little. They do at the restaurant, and that is all right. Okay, now we're going to add the unsalted butter in there. You can cut it up into little cubes if you like. And then the garlic scapes as well are going in. And the butter will help with the tossing. You can use tongs. You can use whatever implement that you like. Don't forget some salt and pepper. I'm going to put the carrots in now and try to time the main course. Hey Google, set a timer for 12 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 12 minutes. All right. So salt and pepper in there. And let's check the recipe. So we're cooking for 2 minutes with the butter and the garlic scapes. Garlic scapes, if you're unfamiliar with them, so garlic, when it grows, shoots out this big, long green thing, and then it turns into another head of garlic. You can do a couple different things. You can cut it off and eat it, like we do, or you can push it back into the soil, and then it creates a lot more garlic. So a lot of farmers do a little bit of both, because how much garlic can you possibly need when it reproduces itself like it does? So keeping that in mind. Okay, so the carrots are in. This guy is almost done. We're going to plate it up in some nice bowls. I'm going to need a spoon for the salsa verde. Make sure to give that a stir so that the oil doesn't separate from the green. And then we've got our grana padano cheese that goes on top. So this is looking really good. Again, the portions are going to be a little outsized compared to what you guys are getting because they sent me more with a main course portion. So I might even just leave a little bit in the pan and grab a new pan for the main course veg. Because yeah, this is a lot. You know what? I've got a bowl right here. I'm just going to plate that up, and yeah, because there's a little bit of gnocchi that's stuck to the bottom of the pan, we're not going to use that one. We're going to do a different one. Look at me adapting. Now, I'm going to put this up to high for our steak. 1 tablespoon of grapeseed oil per person in there. Salsa verde. All around. Lovely. And then a grana padano on top. I don't want to do too much because I want you guys to be able to see the beautiful colors below. So I'm going to put that on the table for some extra for anyone who likes. In my household, my lovely wife Maureen and our excellent son Shannon, who really enjoys most of our curated meals and is very accommodating with hanging out with friends so that as a 16-year-old he can be here for dinner. So there we go, our lovely mushroom and zucchini gnocchi with the garlic scapes and the grana padano. Voila. Okay, so the steaks, let's sear them up. We can get rid of this guy. So again, I use a cast iron pan, but any heavy bottom pan will be good. We're doing the recipe to get you to medium rare, but if you want it a little more well done, then you can put it in the oven for an extra 4 minutes per degree of doneness. So if you want medium, go in the oven for 4 minutes. If you want medium well, go for 8 minutes. And we wouldn't necessarily suggest past that. While the steaks are searing, so it's going to be 2 minutes on each side, I should get my second nonstick pan and start to warm it up. Although really, it is going to go onto the same burner, because I prefer gas, when the steak is done. So keep that in mind. I won't even need that other burner. I'm just a little preheating it as the chef suggests. Let's see how our crust is going. A nice crust there. So again, about 2 minutes on each side. And this is on medium-high, where your veg is going to be more on medium. So in the meantime, let me tell you about the red wine tonight. So this is, I've had this once before a long time ago, but Connor, our wine director, has brought it back. It's a Carignan Noir called Old Star from Olivier Coste in the south of France. Man, it's delicious. So Carignan is one of the great grape varieties that's in the southern Rhone and the south of France in general, blended with Grenache and Mourvedre and Cinsault in things like Châteauneuf-du-Pape or a lot of other southern Rhone blends. But this one, 100% Carignan Noir, and it's just vibrant. They do it in the stainless steel tanks, so even though it's big and rich and full-bodied, it's got bright, fresh acidity. Anyway, I'm a big fan, so I hope you guys enjoy it too. Okay, I borrowed that little extra pan, so I need to get this back because we are going to pour off some of the oil from this when we get the nice crust. I think we've got a little more on one side than the other. And then we're going to do a little butter bathing. So just hold your steaks so that they don't disappear. The oil's gone. And take our 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter per person, put it back in there. Grab a nice big soup spoon. And at this point, you can turn the heat off because you don't want to overcook the steak. But as soon as the butter is melted, move it around the pan. That's when we butter bathe. And you want to do this for about a minute on each side. Maybe I need a little bit more heat because the butter is not melting. So maybe turn it down to medium low, just so that there's a little bit of heat still going on. And actually, I can swap my pans now. How about this for multitasking? So I know I need another 1 tablespoon of canola or grapeseed oil per person in this pan. And it's going to go to medium because the steak is going to rest for 5 minutes, and that's how long it's going to take for the veg to cook. So butter bathe this for a minute on one side, and we're going to do 30 seconds on the other side. Hopefully you guys can see all this. And the butter bathing and the caramelizing of the butter is what makes it so delicious. Turn that guy off, as we are going to rest the steaks at this point, but keep the fond and the butter because that's really nice, and you can pour it over top if you like. So now, again, they gave me way too many mushrooms, so I'm not going to use this all. I think our chefs thought I was cooking for more people tonight. So we've got a real mixture of mushrooms in here, but mostly shiitake and oyster. And chef said he likes the bok choy to get some brown on it. So we're going to cook it for the same amount of time between the two. If you want it to be a little more luxurious, you can also add some butter to this, but we've got butter already with the steak. So no need necessarily to do that. Okay, nice. keep an eye on this because you may need to add a little more oil. All right, so we got our Grana Padano. We've got our unsalted butter. I'm going to clean up. Paper towels, always good to have handy. And while this is happening, we can start plating our dessert, which I've been looking forward to all day. So, chocolate raspberry tart. We can do it over here so you guys can see. And then we've got two other components. Our dulce de leche. You know what? Let me make sure to give this a stir so nothing burns. I'm going to season it now because it will help release some of the water from the bok choy and the mushrooms. There we go. Okay, spoon, dulce de leche. This is some of my favorite stuff. We make this in-house. You take carnation milk and you boil it, and it caramelizes into this amazing caramel. It can be a little thick sometimes, and that's okay. And it's also delicious. And then we've got our crushed cashews. Let's put that over top. And because it is a chocolate raspberry tart, I know I've got a couple of raspberries in our fridge. So just so you know that it's raspberry in this tart, I'm going to drop a couple on there. There we are. Chocolate raspberry tart with the dulce de leche and the cashews. This is coming along well. I don't need to put any more butter in there because we also have the miso mayo, which is going to be delicious on there. So the steak we are going to be slicing when it's done the resting. So I'd rest it on a baking sheet with a little cookie rack so that the air can get underneath it as well. Very nice. So you see this flank steak is super easy because the lines are very easy to identify. We're going to slice that up in a second. I'm probably rushing this. It's probably only about 4 minutes of resting. But I don't want to keep you guys around too long. Actually, you know what? I'm going to rest for one more minute because we can do the miso mayo first. Not what I call the chef's swoosh. Hey, Google, off. Okay, so our carrots looking good. Turn the oven off. A little saute on these guys, getting some nice brown. So with this, make sure the butter gets in there. Give it a little toss. So I know the carrots are going to be on one side, beside the veg in the middle, and then the steak will be cut over top. You see how I did this? By delaying cutting the steak, it's going to look even more impressive. And it's going to be more tender and delicious because the juices are not going to run all out of it. Trying to get my carrots to line up just right. I hope you guys enjoy my silly banter. Okay, this is looking good. Bok choy, mushrooms. That little guy over there. Might have to use this plate for my Instagram shot. Whatever the prettiest one is, that's what I use for the Instagram shot. A little extra bok choy there. This is a good looking meal. Okay, now, very well rested steak. So you want to slice it thinly against the grain. And flank steak, very easy to identify which the grain is. And here's a little secret I'm going to tell you. When you're slicing steak, you can flip the other side up so that you see the nice red medium rare inside. Because this is a soy marinated, it's going to be a little darker than your typical medium rare, and that's okay. That's how we do it. Line up all the pieces. And then fan it out like this. Like this. And that is when you season it one last time so that the fanning goes right in there. Voila. Looking good. I wonder which one is going to be the best. I clean this guy up. I bet you this will be. So there is our lovely marinated flank steak, roasted heirloom carrots, bok choy, shiitake and oyster mushrooms, and of course our miso mayo. Thanks again for ordering this week, and thanks for letting us be a part of your special celebration at home. Hope you love your meal, and I really hope we get to cook and curate it for you again really soon.